Hello, friends. It's hard to stay off the radar in the modern world, where digital technologies and social media have become an integral part of our lives. It seems that everything that happens to us, even if it's rather personal, becomes public knowledge in an instant. In today's video, you'll get to see people whose hobbies bring them success, pleasure, and unforgettable experiences. You'll also get to witness the most awkward situations, failures, and simply amusing coincidences that got captured on camera. This man sliced the potatoes perfectly, without even looking at them once. Even everyday objects can help you acquire superpowers and feel like a superhero. This Chinese worker came up with a way to get down quickly without using the stairs, all the while getting to reminisce about his childhood antics. Why spend a lot of money on special massagers when there's this option? Time optimization at its best. Instead of going up and handing the material to the other construction worker, the man simply tossed it onto the roof. When you're dead set in your ways, even the weather can't ruin your plans for a lunch out in the fresh air. This young woman looks rather impressive. Not every man can boast of such skills on the bar. When a person finds himself in a stressful situation, their instincts kick in. It's either fight or flight. It's rather interesting that the person in the wheelchair chose to run. Being a parent isn't easy, and sometimes it can even be deadly. You never know which toy you'll trip over this time. It was foolish to think that driving a jet ski on ice would end any differently. When you're too lazy to walk 10 meters to the nearest pedestrian crossing and end up becoming a social media star. You don't always have to go to the skate park to test your biking skills and high-speed maneuvers. Picturesque mountain slopes will also do the trick. The man wanted to do everything right, but his desire for perfection annoyed his client instead. But even that didn't seem to faze the professional. Sometimes we crave attention and approval from others. That's why this man decided to demonstrate his skill of riding his bike backwards. These customers probably thought that the waiter was a klutz and tilted their glass by accident, but it was actually a rather cool trick. Let's hope this man uses his skills for something other than apartment burglaries. Sometimes the longer you prepare and the more you psych yourself out, the bigger the chance is that you'll mess it up. Flying a plane or a helicopter is rather expensive, but sometimes you don't only have to pay for the service itself, but also allocate some funds for a new camera or phone. It seems that if it weren't for the elusive sneaker, he would have continued like this for a long time. His love for order and his experience working in a clothing store definitely helped him acquire certain skills that would greatly reduce the time it takes to organize his workspace. You're not you when you're hungry. Another confirmation that hunger actually affects our emotions. It makes us impatient and irritable. Knife throwing is a true art. He didn't only manage to hit a moving target, but he did it while standing with his back to it. Even when it comes to using brute physical force, a creative approach can be found. That moment you realize you don't belong at this celebration. The fresh sea air can be so intoxicating that you can literally lose your balance. This young man is incredibly strong. How many of you can boast of being able to do such a trick? Using the Ebru painting techniques, you can create magical paintings that are almost impossible to replicate. This monkey definitely loves all the attention and responds in kind to friendly guests. A bouquet of flowers can't really surprise modern women, but a gift like this cannot fail to impress. You will barely have time to count the number of plates on his tray before he delivers them to the customers. Parking problems aren't only for the drivers. However, repairing a broken mirror is also a lot cheaper. Dancing is an activity that can become a favorite hobby, diversify one's routine, and uplift one's mood. It is an excellent way for people of any age to keep themselves in good shape. An incredibly beautiful cake, which was the result of several hours of meticulous work. But let that be the biggest problem in their married life. Only a perfectionist could come up with such a cool way to stack glasses. This young man decided to play golf on the frozen lake, which turned out to be a fatal mistake for him. Sometimes it's better not to know what you look like when you're overwhelmed with emotions. Immersing oneself in the fantasy world of the Wild West, one can learn to handle a lasso and even master complex tricks. This can definitely hypnotize a person, as long as they focus all of their attention on the monotonous, rhythmic rotation. The driver decided not to bother and waste time clearing the snow off his car before driving. As a result, he ended up in a stressful, unsafe situation and wasted much more time. Perfectionists would definitely enjoy this method of cleaning a round table. This is definitely not the person you should approach when he has an axe in his hands. Such actions usually carry a social or ethical message, trying to draw attention to a specific issue. Flash mobs can be very impressive with the scale and their vivid presentation. Doesn't this remind you of the way the cord retracts into the vacuum cleaner, only on a much larger scale? The poor condition of the road forces the pedestrians to perform real tricks to get over the puddles. Rollerblading is no longer considered something you do just for fun. It is now seen as a sport with various incredible and complicated tricks. He needs way more practice to launch this airplane properly. I think everyone can imagine the approximate price of a stone countertop. Well, there is no need to imagine anything. Just take a look at these men's faces. While the concept of knife throwing is easy to comprehend, coin throwing seems to require the study of some unconventional techniques. It only took the passerby a few seconds to notice this unusual performance. Proper strength training ensures organic muscle growth and makes women stronger and more attractive. I bet a lot of housewives dream of having such a device in their kitchen. How is one supposed to feel comfortable and confident in the locker room or a fitting room after seeing these shots? Apparently, the absence of surveillance cameras isn't a guarantee that no one's watching you. The motorcycle owner was lucky enough to have splashed water on a calm and sensible person. And here, Aladdin is rushing to his carpet to go meet Jasmine. Trampoline jumping is a very exciting and energizing activity that both adults and children enjoy. Moreover, it's easy to learn various acrobatic tricks on the trampoline. This man creates a real aerial show using an improvised object. There are numerous ways to overcome one's own fears, but this option seems particularly extreme and thrilling. Snowy winter is the perfect time for skiing and snowboarding, but you don't necessarily have to go to a mountain resort to do it. You can find the right slopes even in the city and its surroundings. Riding a bicycle allows kids to become more enduring and agile, as well as improve their coordination. However, young cyclists should always be supervised by adults because to ensure their safety, one needs to analyze the surrounding environment and be able to anticipate different scenarios. This isn't your ordinary dough, but a real boomerang. I wonder if the show of making the dish is included in the price. It seems cheaper to go to the game and support your favorite team at the stadium than to do it at home. Such a dragon can soar high in the sky and will definitely delight everyone around. He wanted to get back at his annoying neighbors, but in the end, it is the janitors who will have to clean up this mess. There is a stereotype that men are adult children, which refers to their sometimes childish behavior. Well, the mess left behind after such games definitely isn't any less than what a child could do. Children should be taught to be independent from a very young age. The important part, however, is to put away all the valuables where the kid can't reach them. Being clumsy is not the worst thing in the world, as long as you don't feel ashamed after such incidents and continue practicing. The slow descent didn't work out, so she literally dove headfirst into the freezing water. It's high time for the management of this warehouse to stop skimping on shelves. They're right when they say, penny wise, pound foolish. It doesn't matter how much these cars cost, you can't buy happiness. The hard part about such tricks is usually to keep the balance and not to keep one's pants on. If these men don't get fired after this incident, they will definitely have to buy lunch for their colleagues for at least a month. Sure, there was a chance to bring them over in one piece, but what happened was rather predictable. I wouldn't want to be in his place, in a small boat in close proximity to a huge ship that seems to be heading straight for him. It's interesting that it doesn't seem to bother him at all. His calmness is truly admirable. The weather isn't going to wait until he finally installs the windshield, so he had to find an unconventional solution to his problem. Manufacturers usually try to save our time and energy by making the cans easy to open, but there are still people who choose to complicate their own lives. You would have to make an effort to get into such a traffic accident. It looks very impressive. I hope this wasn't their first date. Otherwise, I doubt that anyone would want to date such a problematic woman. The quarantine during the COVID-19 epidemic gave rise to a new invention. It seems that this method of protection is much more effective than a face mask. Friends, that's all for today. Like the video, subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next time.